Have you ever wondered what would happen if a massive solar storm hit the Earth? Imagine the sun, a colossal ball of fiery plasma, constantly boiling and roiling with magnetic energy. This energy often bursts forth from the sun's surface in spectacular eruptions known as solar storms. These storms, while fascinating to observe, are much more than mere celestial fireworks. They are powerful eruptions that can have significant impacts on our world. There are two main types of solar storms: solar flares and coronal mass ejections, or CMEs for short. Solar flares are intense bursts of radiation that erupt from sunspots, areas of intense magnetic activity on the sun's surface. On the other hand, CMEs are giant bubbles of gas and magnetic fields released into space. Both of these events can hurl plasma and magnetically charged particles towards Earth at incredible speeds. When these particles reach our planet, they can create a dazzling light show in our atmosphere known as auroras. These are the beautiful ethereal lights often seen near the Earth's poles, also known as the northern and southern lights. But these lights are not just stunning to look at. They are also a visible reminder of the power and reach of our sun. While these solar storms can gift us with beautiful auroras, they can also cause disruptions to our technology-dependent world. When these magnetically charged particles collide with our Earth's magnetic field, they can cause geomagnetic storms. These storms have the potential to interfere with power grids, causing blackouts, confusing GPS signals, and messing with radio communications. In an increasingly connected world, these disruptions can have significant implications. So, solar storms are not just a fascinating natural phenomenon, they can have significant impacts on our modern technology-dependent world. From the stunning spectacle of auroras to the potential for widespread technological disruption, solar storms are a powerful reminder of our sun's immense energy and influence. The sun, much like Earth, has its own cycles of activity. It's a cosmic ballet of sorts, with the sun moving through a rhythm that spans about 11 years. This rhythm or cycle is known as the solar cycle, and it determines the intensity and frequency of solar activity. Now picture this cycle as a pendulum swinging back and forth. At one end we have the solar minimum, a period when the sun is relatively calm and quiet. Sunspots are few, solar flares are rare, and the sun's magnetic field is at its weakest. But as the pendulum swings to the other side, we reach the solar maximum, a period of intense solar activity. During this phase, sunspots multiply, solar flares become common, and the sun's magnetic field is at its strongest. Interestingly, these fluctuations in solar activity have a direct impact on Earth. They play a role in the frequency and intensity of auroras, those mesmerizing northern and southern lights. During a solar maximum, the probability of experiencing solar storms and consequently auroras increases significantly. Now here's where things get really interesting. We are currently in a new solar cycle, with the next solar maximum expected in July 2025. Yes, that's right, we are heading towards a period of heightened solar activity. This means the frequency of solar storms and auroras is likely to increase as we approach this solar maximum. So, if you're an aurora enthusiast, these next few years could offer some spectacular sightseeing. But increased solar activity isn't just about beautiful lights in the sky. It also brings with it the potential for more solar storms, powerful explosions on the sun that can have significant effects on Earth. As we move closer to the solar maximum, we can expect to see more solar storms. But what does this mean for us? Solar storms aren't just a light show in the sky, they can have real-world implications. These cosmic events, while stunning to observe, can send our modern world into a tailspin if we're not properly prepared. When the sun releases a burst of plasma and charged particles towards Earth, known as a solar flare or a coronal mass ejection, it can cause a series of disruptions to our technology-dependent society. One of the most common impacts is on our power grids. The magnetically charged particles from the sun can interact with the Earth's magnetic field, inducing currents that can overload electrical systems, leading to potential blackouts. Imagine a world without electricity, even for a short time. It's not just about losing the ability to charge your phone or watch your favorite show, but it also affects critical infrastructure like hospitals and transportation systems. But the effects of solar storms don't stop there. They can also cause what is referred to as GPS confusion. The solar radiation can interfere with the signals between satellites and receivers on the ground, making navigation systems less accurate. This can have implications for everything from your car's GPS to systems guiding airplanes and ships. Solar storms can also wreak havoc on radio communications. The increased radiation from the solar storm can cause radio blackouts, affecting both terrestrial and satellite communication systems. This could disrupt everything from cell phone reception to emergency radio communications. In extreme cases, solar storms can even pose a radiation risk to humans, particularly for astronauts in space or passengers on high-latitude flights. The high-energy particles from the sun can penetrate the Earth's magnetic field and cause increased radiation exposure. While these impacts may sound scary, scientists and forecasters are working hard to understand and predict solar storms to help us prepare. The more we understand about these solar events, the better we can protect our technology and ourselves from their effects. It's a fascinating field of study that combines the beauty of space weather with the practical need for Earth weather forecasting. With the expected increase in solar activity in 2025, how can we prepare? As we edge closer to the solar maximum, the likelihood of experiencing significant solar storms increases. These celestial events, while spectacular to witness, can cause disruptions to our power grids, GPS systems, and radio communications. So, let's talk about how we can prepare for this astronomical eventuality. Fundamentally, preparing for a solar storm is much like preparing for any other natural disaster. It's all about planning ahead and staying informed. Firstly, it's crucial to have a plan for potential power outages. This might involve investing in a generator, ensuring you have a stockpile of batteries for essential devices, and possibly even considering alternative energy sources like solar panels. Next up, stocking up on necessary supplies. Think non-perishable food, water, flashlights, blankets, and means of cooking without electricity. Remember, power outages could last for a while depending on the severity of the storm, so it's important to have enough supplies to last. Personal resilience plays a huge role in disaster preparedness. This means knowing what to do in the event of a power outage, understanding how to operate your equipment, and being mentally prepared for the possibility of disruption. Remember, forecasters can issue warnings ahead of coronal mass ejections, the solar phenomenon that causes these storms. So, staying informed is key. Keep an eye on the news, follow the right channels, and listen to the experts. Lastly, don't forget about protecting your electronic devices. Solar storms can cause spikes in electrical currents that could potentially fry your electronics. Unplug your devices when a storm is expected, or consider investing in surge protectors. Preparing for a solar storm is much like preparing for any other natural disaster. It's all about planning ahead and staying informed. The sun's activity may be beyond our control, but how we prepare for its effects is entirely within our hands. As we approach the solar maximum in 2025, it's important to understand what solar storms are and how they can impact us. We've journeyed through the intricate nature of solar storms, understanding their cause and manifestation. These storms are born from the energetic activity of our sun, a bubbling sphere of plasma, constantly opening and closing sunspots, emitting solar flares and coronal mass ejections. We've delved into the solar cycle, a roughly 11-year rhythm of our sun's activity. We're currently in the midst of cycle 25, which started in December 2019, and is set to reach its peak in July 2025. This solar maximum is predicted to bring more solar flares, geomagnetic storms, and the ethereal beauty of auroras, the northern and southern lights, seen further south than usual. We've also explored the potential impacts of solar storms on Earth. Beyond the stunning spectacle of auroras, these storms can interfere with power grids, GPS, and radio communications. They can disrupt satellite orbits and even expose individuals on planes to high doses of radiation. But remember, scientists are constantly monitoring solar activity to develop strategies to protect astronauts and our electric grid. Lastly, we've discussed how to prepare for the upcoming solar maximum, emphasizing the necessity of planning ahead for potential power outages and disruptions in communication. Stocking up on supplies, such as non-perishable food, water, flashlights, blankets, and alternative cooking methods, can be crucial during such events. While solar storms can present challenges, they also offer a unique opportunity to witness one of nature's most spectacular displays. So stay prepared, stay informed, and don't forget to look up at the sky every once in a while.